too expensive. It's too expensive to leave versus what you would save and the regulations that you wouldn't have to go through and all the bullshit with all the permits and all the... What California does is overregulate everything. They get as much government involved as possible. They suck as much tax money out of you as possible. And then they still leave the place a mess. They still have homeless people everywhere. It's still a disaster. It's still a woke show of virtue signaling at every level of the government. Still. Like, no course correction at all. They're going further and further into La La Land. And you're like, Jesus Christ, you guys.
Even though the storm in California may have passed, guess who's still furious at the top? Joe Rogan and Mel Gibson. These two are relentless in demanding that Gavin Newsom be held accountable for his failures. Together, they let loose on a recent episode of the Rogan podcast. If you're looking for unfiltered political firepower, this one's for you.
The whole state is just so poorly managed. It's so frustrating and confusing, and then he gets on TV and pretends like everything's great. And California's the best. We have the best state. We have the most amazing economy. And like, you're out of your mind, dude. You've ruined this state. Like, personally ruined it.
Rogan opened by blasting the California governor for squandering his time in office. California, he said, should be a haven that attracts doers and dreamers from across the country. Instead, people are fleeing. Rogan left in 2020, fed up with the state's cancel culture where one wrong word could ruin your entire life. But that was just the warm-up. He claimed Newsom wrecked a once-booming economy with performance politics, weak leadership, and reckless decisions. Homelessness is rampant, businesses are leaving, taxes are through the roof, and crime is surging. Rogan called Newsom the embodiment of everything wrong with progressive politics where real people are sacrificed for ideology. And Rogan knows this firsthand. He slammed Newsom's administration for decimating small businesses during the pandemic through a string of poor choices.
No one who is alive today had ever experienced a true pandemic. And I'm hoping that now that this is over, people are going to, recognize that some serious errors were made and not repeat those. That's the best you can get out of it.
So what do you tell those people?
Vote Republican.
Newsom's disastrous pandemic response, Rogan said, was the final straw that pushed him away from the Democratic Party. Why? Because the Democrats fumbled hard. Endless lockdowns deepened a mental health crisis, wiped out mom and pop shops, and only delayed the inevitable spread of the virus. Schools remained closed for months, even with minimal transmission risk robbing. Countless kids, especially low-income ones, of a proper education. Rogan didn't see the strict mask mandates as science, but as political theater. He didn't hold back accusing the left of stifling dissent, ignoring evidence, and criminalizing debate. According to him, Newsom inherited a golden opportunity and blew it. Lives shattered, freedoms vanished, and small businesses vanished. To Rogan, the pandemic didn't just expose policy failure, it revealed a deeper decay in progressive leadership, more power, less logic. And with wildfires raging again in California,
this guy's like standing in front of all this stuff, and he's got a smile on his face, and he's talking about land use.
The development plan.
Watch this. Play this.
I was just talking to Josh Green, the governor of down in Hawaii, who had some ideas around some land use concerns he has around speculators coming in, buying up properties, and the like. So we're already working with our legal teams to move those things forward, and we'll be presenting those in a matter of days, not just weeks.
With a big smile on his face. Look at the little wiggle he does with his shoulders. Speculator, watch this. Talking to Josh. Look at this. Look at this little wiggle. It's excited about the possibilities of speculators coming in. And he's saying we're move forward. We're going to move forward on that. These people lost their home.
It's no surprise Rogan is now urging Californians to vote Republican. Because leadership isn't about photo ops and PR stunts, it's about showing up when it matters. Rogan contrasted Newsom with former Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, who tackled crises directly. No excuses, no fluff. He took ownership and tried to fix things. Newsom, on the other hand, treated the job like a game of political chess. While Californians were losing their livelihoods, Newsom was seen dining at expensive restaurants without a mask while simultaneously enforcing strict lockdowns and eyeing a presidential run. Instead of grit, he chased headlines, leaving ordinary people to fend for themselves. Rogan's frustration resonates because this isn't about party lines. It's about competent someone with integrity, guts, and a genuine sense of responsibility. Californians don't need another polished politician, they need someone who gives a damn.
Gavin Newsom talks about California. He's like, I'm very big on California, very bullish on California. California has all this industry. Hey, they're all thinking about moving.
Thank God.
The only reason why they don't move is because it's too difficult to move. If it was like every business could instantly pull up roots and replace everything and have everything running in a week at the other place, they'd all be gone.
Joe Rogan didn't hold back. He accused Gavin Newsom of turning California into a graveyard for small businesses. According to Rogan, Newsom didn't just fail them, he actively made things worse. First came Assembly Bill 5, a bureaucratic nightmare that reclassified gig workers as employees, translation, soaring labor costs, and legal chaos for small businesses. Then came the $20 minimum wage policy that sounded good on paper, but led to restaurant closures, layoffs, and bankruptcies. And let's not forget the unemployment crisis. Thanks to Newsom's oversight failure, rampant fraud drained the system, leaving businesses to pick up the tab through increased payroll taxes. Rogan didn't sugarcoat it. Instead of helping small businesses, Newsom suffocated them with misguided laws, endless red tape, and hollow gestures. California, he argued, is no longer the land of opportunity, it's a warning sign.
It's too expensive to leave versus what you would save and the regulations that you wouldn't have to go through and all the bull with all the permits and all that. What California does is overregulate everything. They get as much government involved as possible. They suck as much tax money out of you as possible. And then they still leave the place a mess. They still have homeless people everywhere. It's still a fucking disaster. It's still a woke shit show of virtue signaling at every level of the government. Still. Like no course correction at all. They're going further and further into La La Land. And you're like, Jesus Christ, you guys.
Joe Rogan has had enough of Gavin Newsom's leadership. And honestly, is he wrong? With all its flashy initiatives and endless regulations, you'd think California would lead the country in quality of life. But the opposite is true. Despite being one of the wealthiest states, it's plagued by problems, worse than those in many others. Homelessness has turned entire blocks in Los Angeles and San Francisco into tent cities. Crime continues to rise in major urban centers. Businesses are fleeing to states like Texas and Florida, chasing lower taxes and friendlier conditions. Meanwhile, the middle class is getting crushed by soaring costs. What have all these progressive policies delivered? Rogan and other critics say Sacramento is drowning in arrogance, and California is drifting further from the Golden State ideal. And Rogan isn't the only one speaking out. Actor Mel Gibson is adding his voice to the chorus, demanding Newsom's removal.
Karen Bass have already proven their incompetence and poor leadership during the Los Angeles wildfires. Now, as we experience rampant lawlessness and civil unrest, it's never been more clear they're unable to respond effectively and responsibly during calamity. Whether it's sheer incompetence or outright malevolence, the reality is stark. California's in a state of turmoil, and I ask my fellow Angelenos, why are Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass still in office?
Mel Gibson didn't pull any punches. He got right to the heart of the matter. Gavin Newsom needs to go. And he wasn't just stirring the pot, he was serious. The turning point for Gibson came during the ICE protests, when Newsom stood by and watched chaos unfold. Cities were vandalized, businesses looted, and peaceful protests turned violent. Gibson slammed Newsom for putting ideology over accountability. When violence erupted, instead of acting quickly and deploying security, Newsom looked the other way, choosing to side with the protesters. For Gibson, this wasn't just poor leadership, it was gross negligence. Californians weren't demanding a crackdown, they just wanted peace, safety, and a governor who had their back. Newsom couldn't even meet that basic standard. According to Gibson, he was too busy making symbolic arrests like targeting Tom, hoping to clean up the chaos his own inaction had enabled.
Get your hands off these poor people. They're just trying to live their lives, man. Trying to live their lives, paying their taxes. Been here 10 years. The fear, the horror. The hell is this guy? Come after me, arrest me. Let's just get it over with. Tough guy. You know, I don't give a damn. But I care about my community. I care about this community. The hell are they doing? These guys need to grow up. They need to stop. And we need to push back. And I'm sorry to be so clear, but that kind of bloviating is exhausting. So Tom, arrest me. Let's go.
As if one dramatic arrest could fix the disaster Newsom helped create during the ICE riots. It's absurd. Gavin Newsom is all about optics, trying to act tough for the cameras while cities burned. Strip away the flashbulbs and photo ops, and you see the truth. Newsom's response to the protests was a leadership failure. He sat on the sidelines while property was destroyed and trust in government eroded. Then, when public outrage exploded, he rewrote the story and pretended to be the enforcer. That, Gibson said, is peak hypocrisy. If Newsom truly cared, he would have worked with the federal government on humane, legal solutions to immigration issues. He had the chance to lead on meaningful reform, to secure borders and offer fair pathways. But Newsom didn't have the courage. Actor Jon Voight, on the other hand, wasn't afraid to speak out either, and he had sharp words for California's governor.
What are you doing for this destruction of these animals destroying Los Angeles? Are you there, talking calmly with them, you fool? They would burn you down like they're burning the cars and the American flag, with no regard for humanity. This is not about Trump. This is about protecting the people from these animals and criminals trying to destroy us. And our police force, are they supposed to stand there, let rocks hit them and kill them? Who's going to save them? You? You're a disgrace. You're nothing but a lying dog for the hopes of becoming the president one day.
With California sinking under economic strain, rising crime, and worsening homelessness, critics argue Gavin Newsom has failed to manage one of the most resource-rich states in the US, so how can he be trusted to lead the entire country in 2028? Despite his polished image and flashy proposals, the reality under his leadership tells a different story. Businesses fleeing, schools underperforming, and families struggling. Joe Rogan and Mel Gibson aren't the only voices calling him out there, just echoing what many frustrated Californians already feel. Leadership demands results, not headlines. And if this is Newsom's model for governance, extending it nationwide would be a risk America can't afford.